It's your show, and then I can just.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a Instagram Live, YouTube Live, and a Facebook Live here. I am so excited because we're going to talk about some loyalty programs and a conference. Let's see here. I'm going to give a chance for those. If you are just joining us for the first time, and we are joined today with Michael Trager from Zorkfest. Welcome. We got some folks joining us. Folks, if you are joining for us for the first time, I'd love to hear. Tell us below, where are you coming in from? And Michael, yourself, where are you today?
I am in sunny and cold Jupiter, Florida. Because
Is
we're
it
having
getting
a
cold in
streak.
Jupiter, Florida?
Well, it was like 45 this morning. It got up to 67 today. It's getting up to the 70s tomorrow, so don't feel too bad for me.
Wow.
Well, but
folks,
yeah, little cold streak going on in a lot of places, I think.
It is. I just came from Chicago at one of the seminars, and oh my gosh, it started to snow just as I'm about to leave, Michael.
I know. You forget what winter's like sometimes. Well,
Yes.
You probably do too sometimes.
It was, I was just there at another conference 2 weeks before that, and it was perfectly fine. It said it was 40 degrees, but I didn't feel it at all. Even from Southern California, I thought it was perfectly fine. But I wanted, as just coming off of 2 conferences in the last 2 weeks, Michael, I have this sense of energy. I have this excitement that's happening right now. And I thought about, what people were asking me too, is it too late? Or are there any other conferences by the end of this year? And I wanted to let people know that there is one more conference at the end of this year. And maybe they didn't know about it, or maybe they didn't know that it exists, but it's a program that you put together called Zorkfest, right, Michael?
Yes, and it's I think it's a wonderful conference, and everybody needs a trip to Vegas before the end of the year. And the conference, that's, how can you not want a trip to Vegas? And on top of it, we're at a absolutely marvelous hotel and resort, which has a great spa and is just a great vibe and just a great place for a conference. So not only do you get the conference, but you get a really cool place to stay in Las Vegas, which is I would say a true luxury hotel. I mean, let's not oversell it too much, but it's a true 4-star luxury hotel. I would say their room product, especially their new room product, is nicer than Bellagio. But that's it's a really it's a great property, and actually it's the official hotel of the Raiders, so which is sort of cool, which I think makes it a little bit busier weekend also, which is cool because there's great vibe, but it's a great property, and it's a great place to have the event. But of course, it's also a great time for people to come to Las Vegas and get those final elite qualifying nights at the Rio. So you can get those final Hyatt elite qualifying nights, so you can actually attend a really fun and informative conference, and grab a couple of those last minute Hyatt nights to either make a bonus threshold or to finish things off. So there's lots of reasons to go to Vegas.
I wanted to actually talk about it first.
I'm losing your volume a little bit. I don't know if it's just me.
Is it better now? Hello?
Oh yeah, there you are. You're back now.
back.
You-
Mike, I wanted to ask you, Zorkfest, you put this together how many years now? It's been around.
It's since 2017.
2017. And give us a little background. Unlike other conferences where it's just points and miles or just travel, you've added another component to it and makes it quite interesting. Can you talk a little bit about why?
Yes, we've integrated casino loyalty into it, and actually, casino loyalty sometimes becomes more and more relevant to miles and points people. It's really great to learn about the casino loyalty programs, but also leveraging those casino loyalty programs for things like free cruises. But it's another, it's another major loyalty program that has to do with travel. And a lot of people like to, these loyalty programs like Caesar's Rewards and MGM Rewards, if you can learn to optimize on those programs, you can get some really good benefits. So, like free cruises and hotel rooms at casino properties. So it's sort of nice integrating that. And I would say it's about 70% travel loyalty and about 30% casino loyalty. And actually, we have some concurrent sessions running, so you can choose which ones you want to, learn more about. And also learning things about the casino credit cards, also how to get casino status, which can be very useful. So it's a neat crossover. And I would say it's pretty much the first conference that ever started to touch on the fact that, casino loyalty is a thing, and why miles and points people in travel loyalty should pay attention to that. So it's pretty, I think that's pretty nifty. And I think a lot more of the travel loyalty people have been talking about that over the last 2 or 3 years, but we've been, chipping away at that since 2017, as they say.
That's fantastic. You mentioned it's a newly remodeled hotel, and you said the rooms are even nicer than the Bellagio. I mean, maybe we haven't been to Bellagio lately, but this is little pictures of the new property, right?
Yeah, those are the new hotel rooms. I mean, this property has a great spa, great. The hotel rooms are huge. They're over 400 square feet. It's really a nice hotel, and it's really a nice property. So, I mean, part of what we want to do, even if you don't stay at the hotel, it's a nice place to hang out. It's a great place to go to the casino, go to dinner. Like I said, their spa is amazing. So it's really a rather unique hotel that way. I mean, and they also have done, they've, as much as we hate things like resort fees, they have a lowered resort fee for Zorkfest, but they actually include round trip transportation to the airport. So that's something, I think that's like a pretty valuable perk, because most people have to get from, if you're not renting a car, you have to get from the airport. Also, they have free parking. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits on that. And that also makes it easy, if you're staying at another strip property and you want to drive over. But like I said, a lot of people want to use a lot of people are using their FHR credits. So they want to use their FHR credit to stay in Las Vegas. Great way to use your FHR credit. Or people want to grab some extra Hyatt nights, sometimes before or after. So we've made it flexible. We never required everybody to stay at the hotel, because we're miles and points people. And as miles and points people, we didn't want to force people to do something if they can get a hotel room for free, because a lot of people who come to Zorkfest leverage getting a free hotel room and also free airfare. Well, not free airfare, but airfare redemptions. So we wanted to stay sort of on brand with that, and not force people to stay at the host hotel, which I always thought was the way to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, I wanted to talk about some of the things why people attend in person. A lot of times people are like, well, I'm already learning on a Facebook group, or I'm already learning from YouTube videos and things like that. I think there's some really good aspects of in-person networking, Michael, that it's really difficult to achieve just doing it online. And I think that's one of the best things about it, is being able to meet other folks, because that's helped I really felt like I was going along fine, but when I met people in person, that really just kind of catapulted my desire to learn more about points and miles. And what's your feeling about in-person meetings? Why they're important?
Absolutely. I mean, in-person meetings are important because you also meet other people that you can connect through. There's a lot of conversations that go on that you won't necessarily get from a session or someone's not going to do on a YouTube or on a blog. And we've really come up with a new concept now, which we tested last year on the casino side, which is miles and points labs. So not only do we have the traditional sessions where you sit in a conference room, and do the session, but we also have these labs. Now, what are labs? Labs are we have two different sessions on Friday and Saturday, and there are like little tables set up with different topics. And the topics could be about searching for award seats, Disney and family travel, all about credit cards, comp cruises, about what you do with Ben's Big Deal, Asia travel. And what's great about that is you can have like some small group interactions one-on-one with some of the experts. And that's another really important thing to mention. We've got a kick-ass cocktail reception. We always have a great cocktail reception. Our cocktail reception is the only cocktail reception that has blue cheese olives. I just want to make a note of that for your martinis. So it's also the only cocktail reception that also, it's a really good, cocktail reception. And we have also another afternoon networking break. But what's cool about these labs is a lot of people say, oh, I just am sitting in all these conference rooms and listening to these conferences, which are great, but I want to interact a little bit more. Like I want to meet that Ben guy and ask him a couple questions, but I don't want to just grab him in the hall. Well, now you've got these lab sessions. So a bunch of the speakers are doing lab sessions on these different topics. And I think it's going to be a real hit. I mean, a lot of people say that Zorkfest is the more boutique kind of intimate miles and points, loyalty conference. And that's what we aim for. We aim for people to really be able to connect at the cocktail reception, connect with experts and speakers at the labs. Also, during the program on Saturday afternoon, we also have another networking break in the afternoon. So there's a lot of, we're giving you a lot of opportunities to interact with people. And then on top of that, we include a sort of a show on Saturday night, which is called Podcasters After Dark, where a bunch of Vegas influencers and podcasters do a panel. And that's another opportunity to just socialize with some of the people you've met at the conference. So you've met people and you can socialize, have some drinks, and listen to like some really good Vegas podcasters, Vegas and casino podcasters talk about, Vegas and things like that. So I think those opportunities to really network on your regular ticket are huge. And then on top of it, we have optional master classes, which I'll let you talk a little bit about. And so if you want even more, you can do that on Sunday. But what's really cool is you can just do the stuff on Friday, like the cocktail reception, and you can do Zorkfest on Saturday, and you can leave your Sunday free. So it makes for a very flexible weekend. And then the other thing that we were talking about earlier, a lot of times I hear from people, I'm so intimidated about these conferences. Like, I don't know that much and I don't, I feel like I'm going to be overwhelmed. Well, this year we're introducing something called pre-sessions. So when you arrive on Friday before the conference starts, we have a pre-session for travel loyalty and a pre-session for casino loyalty. So if you've never been to one of these conferences before, guess what? We've got a session where we're just going to talk about some of the terminology and other things to sort of get you ready for the main conference sessions and for the labs. And we're going to do the same with casino loyalty. So even if you're a decent amount about travel loyalty, but you feel a little intimidated about casino loyalty, we're also doing a pre-session for casino loyalty. So that's another kind of advantage. And that's great for beginners. And we do that before the conference because it's obviously optional. And we want to do something that's really nice for people who've never come to a conference before. It's sort of like a welcome to coming to a travel loyalty conference.
So Michael, it's a 3-day conference and it starts on Friday and goes until Sunday?
It goes until Sunday, but pretty much so everything on Sunday is optional. So, and we set it up that way so that people could, do stuff in Vegas, because part of, our philosophy, it's like the travel Zork philosophy, is that you should be having experiences and you should be enjoying your weekend and your trip. So you shouldn't just be going to a conference and sitting in a conference room, but you should be enjoying Las Vegas and enjoying your weekend away. It also is extremely good if you bring a partner with you who is not interested in any of this, because they can go and do things, and then you can, like, we've made it so that you can definitely go out to dinner on Saturday night. I mean, you can definitely go out, you go out to dinner before Podcasters After Dark on Saturday night. You can skip Podcasters After Dark. Friday night you can definitely go out to dinner. So there's no reason why you can't still have a pretty cool, fun Vegas weekend. You can go to the Sphere and see the Wizard of Oz. You can still fit other things into your weekend. And that's our goal, is for you to have a great weekend away in Las Vegas, as well as getting all of this miles and points knowledge, travel loyalty and casino loyalty knowledge, and networking and all of that. So we're basically trying to put together for you a really fun weekend.
Well, I wanted to talk about that really fun weekend. I mean, some of the featured speakers, and I know we'll go into a little bit on each speaker, but we have Gary Leff, who's, I mean, the godfather of points and miles. I mean, I would say that he was one of the first people that I read back when I got started, and it's probably is this the only conference that Gary attends every year, once a year?
Pretty much so. For consumer-based conferences, it has
Yeah.
been the only one he's been attending. And also, I mean, you bring it up, we don't just do, hardcore kind of sessions. We do sessions that, like, talk about the way the industry is, where things are going, what you need to think about big picture. Because as you get better in the miles and points hobby, and even if you've been doing it for a while, there's a lot of stuff to think about. Everything's always changing, and you need to embrace that change and get used to it. If you're new to miles and points, you have to realize that some of the best things that might be available as far as redemptions or earning opportunities, that stuff's going to change. It always changes. It's been changing all the time. And you know what? People always say, oh, it's dead. This is not going to be good anymore. Things are not going to be good. But you know what? There's always another way, and another way to figure things out. And that's what's really good on, keeping up with those kind of things, and that's why we really try to bring in some industry leaders. Like Mark Roth Smith is absolutely expert on everything that has to do with hotel status and hotel status matching. So you've got people who've been doing this a while, and we just got a really, really diverse group of speakers who are very, very interesting. Actually, and also what's sort of cool is, like, 35% of the speakers are actually women, which I think is great for in the miles and points world, and is sort of unprecedented in the casino world and miles and points world. So I would say it's a very diverse number of speakers which is really nice, because it gives you more ways to connect. And once again, you really are going to be able to connect with these speakers, because most of them also have lab sessions, and we've got 2 lab sessions. So it's so cool. And I always like to tell people, you can do as much or as little as you want. You can go to the labs, you can go to 1 or 2 sessions, you can take a break and go to the casino, which a lot of people do, or go to the spa. You can come back for a session. It's meant for you to have an enjoyable weekend. And we've really worked hard on that. And we also have some casino gaming stuff on top of it. If you want to get into some group gaming, or learn how to play craps, or learn how to play blackjack, we've got that too.
So let's go into a little bit about what they can expect. So on Friday, when they come in, there's a cocktail reception, which you mentioned is fantastic. And then, do the sessions also start that first day, Michael, the pre-sessions?
Yeah, well, that first day, so basically registration opens on noon on Friday. We had 1 o'clock, we have the pre-session for travel loyalty. At 2 o'clock, we have the pre-session for casino loyalty. Then we have labs from 3 to 4:45. So we have an hour and 45 minutes where you're going to be able to meet some of these speakers, and it's going to be great. And also, it's before the cocktail reception on Friday, so there will be fewer people there. honestly, these labs on Friday, I mean, they're worth the entire conference. Imagine small groups where you can actually ask questions like you're interested in your redemptions to Asia, you're interested in your Disney travel, you're interested to understand how this new Rove works, you're interested in asking a specific credit card question, you're interested in how to get comp cruises. I mean, this is so valuable. And we've run those labs on Friday. And then the cocktail reception starts at 5 p.m. And of course, for people who are arriving a little later or can't get there on Friday, we're running the labs again on Saturday morning. So, which actually you get a bonus. You can go to both lab sessions because remember, there are going to be 9 different lab tables, 9 or 10 actually, because I mean, I just think this lab thing is just so unique and it works so well with this conference, and it really allows you to connect with different speakers and different people, in a really a really direct way about what interests you. And I think that's going to be extremely worthwhile to people. We tested it last year with the casino labs on teaching people how to do craps and blackjack, and they absolutely loved it. Like everybody really thought it was great. And I said, we got to do this for miles and points too.
That's wonderful, Michael. So a lab is not a session; it's a smaller group. And how large do you expect that smaller lab to look like?
We don't know. We set up basically each of the lab instructors have their own table, and whoever wants to gather around and ask questions of them, they gather around and ask questions. It's just literally like it's just like small individual intimate sessions, and you can move from session to session. So you could check out the lab on searching and finding award seats, and then you could pop over to the comp cruises. So it's
okay.
I mean, that's literally the concept of being able to like pop around. So maybe there'll be 5 people at one lab table, maybe there'll be 10 people, maybe there'll be 2 people at another one. And it really gives you that great opportunity to, ask one-on-one questions. It's almost as if the speakers were able, because usually the labs are something that's an expertise of the speakers. It's almost as if the speakers had their own little conference tables and said, hey, come meet and greet me and ask me questions.
That makes sense. And then is there anything to do for P2 or player 2 in case they don't necessarily are coming to sessions? Are there things for them to go check out in the area as well?
Well, there's Vegas to check out, but I mean, in addition, this hotel has a great spa. You can definitely, we don't do dinners, so you would definitely have dinner with your P2. So you could definitely do that. And I think also it's a super comfortable, relaxing, kind of hotel property, which is unusual in the Vegas area. It's a very unique property. Like I said, it's the official hotel of the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's actually quite lovely. I mean, it's not on strip, but part of that makes it nice that it's not on strip. It's a very unique property.
I've been there for conference. It's a great facility. Now, Michael, when I heard you telling me about this, I couldn't stop but think about it. And I said, okay, well, you said that you wanted to provide some type of perk for those who got delayed because of the government shutdown. Can we talk a little bit about this new promo that you're offering?
Yeah, we decided that, a lot of people, once the government shutdown happened, we sell a lot of tickets. A lot of people are last minute, and tickets, ticket sales have been great. But then a lot of people were saying, oh, I want to buy my ticket, but I'm so worried about flying and I'm so worried about traveling. So we came up with this idea that said, hey, you know what? If you buy a Zorkfest ticket now, and this government shutdown is going to be over within a few days. So flying to Vegas is going to actually be fine. Even the residual delays and everything will be well over by then, but we're letting the promotion run. And we're basically saying, you know what? If your flight is 5 or more hours delayed in getting into Vegas and you buy a Zorkfest ticket now, we're going to give you $100 in free play at the casino, just to say like, hey, thanks for buying a ticket. I know, it's really stressful buying airline tickets and trying to plan air travel with this government shutdown. So you know what? If you get really delayed, you deserve a bonus. You're going to get $100 in free play. And we're also going to give you a $250 travel credit you can use with Travel Zork Travel next year. So that's, and that's if you get delayed. So basically, we're basically rewarding you if you get delayed coming in. Now,
like
I highly
delay coverage.
exactly. Now, I highly suggest you come in on the earlier side on Friday so you can make all the sessions. But we're trying to, we're just trying to we're trying to have a little bit of fun, but we're also trying to like thank people for dealing with the stress of this government shutdown and buying tickets somewhere, because I know a lot of people now are like, I'm not buying an airline ticket until this government shutdown is done, or I don't want to fly until the government shutdown is done. So what's great about the bonus now, the government shutdown is going to be done and the bonus is still running. So so basically you get a bonus if you're late.
That makes sense. Let's talk a little bit about some of these speakers. I mean, Michael, I've attended now. This will be my third year in a row attending your Zorkfest, and I'm going to say I look at the lineup that you had this year, and it's quite impressive. Really impressive. This may be one of the strongest lineups you've had.
I think it's a really phenomenal lineup. It is so diverse and has people with so many different, backgrounds and actually areas of expertise. We've really leaned into family travel this time, so we really have great stuff with family travel. We've also leaned into really teaching you about like how the casino comp stuff works. So I mean that's there. But I mean, if you want to run through, do you want to run through the speakers?
Yeah, let's start off with the big I mean you can't like not talk about it from the very beginning. Last year I had the pleasure of introducing him and interviewing him on stage for an hour. The godfather, what we call the frequent flyer world. I mean, he's been writing about this probably easily 15 years or more. Gary Leff. Can you tell me a little bit about what Gary kind of brings to the table at this conference by attending and speaking about it?
Gary is probably the most knowledgeable person about miles and points in the world, and the depth that he brings and the insights that he brings. And that's what we're going to be talking, that's what he's going to be talking about. And he's going to be doing it with Ed Pizzarello, who's also another one of the OGs who's been doing this forever, going back to the days of Flyer Talk. So, I mean, it's really powerful. You will get something out of these sessions, even if you know everything. Believe me, you will. I get something out of it all of the time. And also the ability to be able to chat with these guys at the cocktail reception and at the afternoon break. It's just very, very powerful. And it's something that, it's hard to hype on paper. But I say just trust me, like these, it's just really quite impressive.
Okay, it's not hard type on paper. I'm going to just say right now, there is for many years, there have been a frequent flyer award program, like for many of us who enjoy following and said, which one should I earn? These airline points, these hotel points. There's actually like an Oscar or Academy Award for it, and it's called the Freddie Awards. And folks, if you've never been to it, Ed Pizzarello, who's being invited this year and speaking, and Gary Leff are both the MCs of both that Freddie Awards year after year. And so literally we're getting people who are industry titans are going to be speaking at this particular. And some of you may not know, but Ed runs that podcast called Miles to Go podcast with Richard Kerr, who many of you know from the Built Rewards program over there. And so we may be able to talk a little bit about Disney. We may talk about Built a little bit, maybe even just talk about being a business traveler, because Ed brings all that and then some to the table. And I remember, Michael, when I first went to my first Chicago seminar, I sat in one of Ed's classes that he was running with Summer Hall from Mommy Points.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's really an amazing thing to have both of them on stage, and it's really quite it's quite unique. You're not going to find that. And that's what we try to do. We try to do different things. We try to give different perspectives from people who are down in the dirty on miles and points things. And we've got, and we do, even, in our master classes, we go deep on the optional master classes into certain things. So there's really a lot of value on all of this. And I really, I encourage people to not miss this opportunity, because there really aren't, there just aren't that many opportunities to be able to get to really be able to hear these people speak. And I think it makes a difference in person. And also it makes a difference in person to be able to have a Q&A and ask questions, and also be able to interact with these people on a, pretty much on a one-on-one basis. Once again, we are a smaller conference, so we're under 200 people. So it's a much more intimate environment, and that's the goal. That's what we try, that's what we try to do. And I think I just think it's very powerful, and I think people will really, really enjoy it if they come. I mean, I know everybody does really enjoy it when they come, but it's sometimes like making that decision to come to a conference if you've never come to one before is tough. I mean, it's hard to make that move. And also, if you've never come to a conference before, you don't regularly do conferences, it can be a little bit intimidating, but I assure you it won't be intimidating after you're there for 15 minutes.
Absolutely. And folks, if you're interested in joining already, go ahead and go to zorkfest.com. It'll get you to the site and you guys can be able to register. We got Dia Adams. You mentioned I just saw Dia this past weekend. And for many of you don't know, Dia used to run her own conference for those who were, I think the conference used to be called Travel for Real Families, something like that. I remember. I mean, she was Dia comes from the contrarian side and looking at great value, how to use those choice program points, where does Airbnb come into play when it does. And so really great if you are a family traveler, you're looking to bring a family of 3, 4, 5, 6. I think her insight's going to be fantastic. And if it wasn't for Dia, we probably wouldn't have Mr. Kerr in the industry. She gave him his first big break back in the day. So it's
really, I don't even remember that story. And I'm very friendly with Dia, and I'm so excited to finally have her at Zorkfest. It's just super exciting. I mean, these are great people that I all respect and bring a different perspective to the table, which is amazing.
Yeah, and don't forget, she used to be the editor at Forbes Travel, Fortune magazine. So it brings a whole wealth of knowledge. She even wrote the book, a book right before the pandemic on Disney planning. So she brings a huge amount of experience to the table. So Dia is great. I mean, you're putting an all-star cast here today, Michael, when I'm just looking at it. And then
and Anthony Curtis from Las Vegas Advisor, who is the guru of everything that has to do with casino advantage play, blackjack, but also more so he runs Las Vegas Advisor, and he talks about how to get the best deals. And a lot of his ideas on getting deals and getting Vegas deals will make you think like, oh, that's really cool. So like there is a lot of crossover, but it's also cool really hearing about Vegas deals and how to seek out opportunities. It's all about like analyzing promotions, seeking out opportunities. So I think there's an amazing amount of incredible stuff there. So I mean, that's another bonus. So I really love that.
And it doesn't just end with him. I mean, you have John and Christina McAfee from the Vegas Advantage duo. Can you talk a little bit about them?
Like the ultimate casino comp experts, and they will teach you, how casino comps work. And for a lot of people, they're like, I don't like to gamble that much, or I don't really like to gamble. But we talk about things like, but if we can teach you how to play video poker with very low risk, that can help you during a 10 times multiplier to get Caesar's diamond status. And you can use that Caesar's diamond status to get free cruises or to get the trip to Atlantis. So, I mean, for people who like to travel, remember, casinos can be used, gambling can be used as a tool, just like people use gift cards as a tool for manufactured spend. Gambling can be used as a tool to get you stuff that you need for travel. And that's what I try to say to people. So it's not about the fact that you necessarily, want to be a gambler. It's not about that. It's about the fact that it's a tool. It's another tool you can use. And it's a really, really good tool. You could also use it for manufactured spend with online gambling and stuff like that. And we talk about that. So just think of it that way. Don't think we're not trying to turn you into gamblers. I mean, I love gambling, but we're not trying to turn you into a gambler. That's our thing. We're just not, we're not trying to turn you into a gambler. We're just trying to tell you what the opportunities are and how it relates to miles and points.
Right. But if you are going to play, then at least try to earn some comps along the way.
Well, also, yes, if you do gamble already, we could teach you how to get more comps. So, I mean, that's a very important thing, like how to gamble smarter, so that for the same amount of gambling, you're going to get more comps and, more things for free. And I think that's really important.
Yeah. We have some new people. I mean, I don't think I saw Dave Grossman there last year, but I've seen him at other conferences. Really excited to have Dave. Speaks a lot of times at a lot of industry events, especially he runs Your Best Credit Card and his own group called Miles Talk. Really excited to have Dave. What's Dave going to be covering while he's here?
Oh, what's Dave's session? I mean, Dave is such an expert on so many things, including some of the casino status matching stuff. But he talks this year. I want to get it right because I'm always trying to get things right. Dave is doing. Let's see. Dave is doing a very interesting session because we changed it around. Yes, he's doing demystifying the world of travel credit cards and steps in choosing one, plus the guest Mark Ross Smith and insights on status matching and how to double down, which is just so basically they're going to be talking about travel credit cards, how to choose the best credit card, how to look at credit cards, but also all that stuff about status and status matching. And I know that's relevant to a lot of people.
Yeah, I hear Dave is the one who coined the term status matching merry-go-round that we used to do, that you used to say when we had the back in the MGM. So Dave is really the familiar with that particular topic. So exciting to have Dave here too. Let's not stop. We have a Vegas native joining us here in Julia Menez, the founder of Jailbreeze Travel and the podcast. I've shared this day with her many times, including this year. What are you excited about having Julia back this year?
I mean, she's got such a wealth of knowledge. It's incredible. I sometimes feel like she knows everything. And she's also really good at inspiring beginners and people like trying to figure out, their path in miles and points, and she has just so many interesting things. And she's starting off Zorkfest, and it's a very interesting session, her and Carissa, and it's called From Points to Pinnacle, Reaching the Top of Travel Luxury. Do you want to reach peak loyalty? It's more than flying first class for free. And really, it's going to be exploring the ways to reach your goals. What are your goals? Because that's the interesting thing about miles and points. A lot of it has to do with what are your personal goals. Everyone has different goals, and the goals are not good or bad. They just have to do with what your objectives are. Are you a single person traveling? Are you trying to get your family to travel? Are you into bougie kind of redemptions, or you just get into a higher quantity of travel and things? I mean, people have different goals and different ability to earn points. And it's all about you, but it's all teaching you about how to reach the peak of what you should be doing based on what your personal goals are.
Absolutely. And you mentioned she's going to be co-teaching here with Carissa. Carissa Watson point me to a plane. She actually, in this past year, I think she became director of growth for Rove Miles, which is like right now the hottest new points program in our industry right now that doesn't require a credit card. Like you don't need to get a credit card to earn Rove Miles, which is quite exciting to hear from her as well about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's, I mean, she's also another person who's a wealth of information and brings a lot of different perspective. But on top of it, she brings this perspective of Rove. And guess what? Everybody who comes to Zorkfest gets a bonus of 2,500 Rove miles.
Ooh, look at
I
that.
haven't
Oh my
even told you that yet. So that's another thing that's worth.
breaking news, everyone. Come and you get free miles.
That's right.
That's
You get free Rove miles. Everybody gets free Rove miles, which I think
and
is
Rove miles
really, really cool.
and Rove miles are super valuable becoming right off the bat. I mean, they start off with with Avios and you saw programs like Air India and things like that and Flying Blue, but they just added a brand new partner in Lufthansa Miles and More, which is not transferable from anywhere else. I mean, I know I had a session with Devin and she had a whole thing about how to get a subscription and buying points. Now you can get them from transferring from Rove Miles.
Yeah. So I think I mean, we keep adding more and more, and we have another sponsor coming on, and we're going to have some amazing contests for free travel and other things at the cocktail reception with trivia and things like that. So we're really making it a lot of fun. I mean, we're doing more and more stuff that I think is really quite enticing. So, I mean, there's just a lot that we're doing. We always have a lot of surprises. Like last year, we had a lot of surprises from Jack Daniels. We always try to like do surprises or gifts or things like that, and it's really, really I think it's great. I mean, I think it's super exciting, that we do that. And that's what we try to just bring a lot of value to everybody who's coming.
Okay. I already have someone in the comments who I know Jessica, she's like, I'm gonna go sign up right now. We're on this call. I wanted to bring up, oh my gosh, we got Justin Vakula. Gosh, I'll say this. I just saw Justin this weekend. He spoke, he just killed it. Actually, every conference he goes to, he just kills it. Justin, I originally met him because of Zorkfest. I mean, like that's kind of where you discovered him. You're like the usher to Justin Bieber. Like you discover people, Michael. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't know Justin and that America Loves Math. I didn't know. He is. I mean, talk about taking something and just scaling it to the max. I mean, that is Justin and Hurry Gritty Travel Podcast.
No, absolutely. I will, I'm going to post in the comments also the links to the schedule and everything. So I think it's there. Yeah. So I posted in there. No, he's amazing. And I think he offers so much insight. As I mean, like travel, because I mean he happens to love the casino stuff, but oh my God, does he optimize? His name should be Justin Optimize, because honestly, he optimizes on a level that blows my mind. It's just amazing. But what's great about that, when you're around those people, you learn how far you can take it, and you sort of take pieces of that and do it. I have different things that I focus on, and Ben has different things that he focuses on, but it's great. It's really great getting an idea from folks. He's also going to be talking about the casino credit cards, which are really very interesting. So, and I don't think anybody else really talks about that. So that's another cool thing to learn about.
I do not. Okay. Well, I don't know how you got this guy to come speak to you, but I'll tell you this, Ronnie Dunstan, I've done many masterclass sessions over the past year. I'll probably have done 80 guests that come through. Right now, Ronnie Dunstan is my number one most viewed guest of all my 80 that I have. Michael, Ronnie is like the audience just loves to hear from him, and he takes something that can be complex and makes it really simple, and people just love hearing Ronnie talk about it. So we're excited to have. He's already done 100 countries, and now his goal is to get his kids who are like 4 and 6 years old to get to 100 countries as well. So that's an amazing thing as a family traveler.
No, I mean, and once again, we're talking about a diverse group of speakers. And remember, he does a lab. He does a lab on the 100 countries.
Mm.
So, I mean, if you're interested in that and you want more insight in that, well, we've got a lab for you, is what I like to say. So I think I think that's a really, I think it's just a really cool, an additional really cool thing. So just lots going on, a real lot going on.
Okay, so the only picture I have of Maria I took this picture, by the way, Michael, 2 days ago, because I just met Maria, and I went to her session, and she was great. And I walked through her page, and I looked at her, and she's moderator for World Travel 101. She has a specific focus of family travel, specifically to Asia, like through Taiwan and Taipei and the rest of Asia. A fantastic communicator, and I think for different audiences, I think she's going to really bring in a different audience. I'm really excited. I think Maria Fung is, taking like what, not only family travel, but family travel specifically Asia is what she focuses on. So really exciting to hear from her and have her come back, have her speak at the conference. What's your thought on having her?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I mean, and some of these people are new to Zorkfest, and that's what's really cool. We do that, and once again, it's more boutique. We have a very good number of speakers. So I mean, I think it's rather impressive. But it also it's a smaller conference than some of the other conferences, which I think can be really, really great for people. I mean, it's great for people who know a lot because they get to interact. They have more interactions directly, because at a really big conference, you're not going to have those interactions. And for newbies, it's great because you get interactions, which is really important as a newbie. So I just think I just think there's a lot of, there's a lot of goodness, in everything, all of the stuff that we do with this.
Yeah, and then not only Maria, but we also have Angie Sparks over at World Travel 101, and also from the podcast that runs that site. So really excited to have Angie come and speak as well.
And
So my
she's
gosh.
also a great educator. Well, we also, a lot of our speakers are good natural educators, and we're really proud of that. That's something that we think is, very, very different, than a lot of conferences. We're really, really particular about, everyone who's a speaker and a lab instructor, because we want them to be people that will especially connect with you, and we think we've done a good job at creating that mix.
Okay, and then we got Josh Duffy. Can you talk a little bit about what Josh does for the casino side?
Josh is all casino side and Podcasters After Dark, and he's an all-around great guy. But he's the host for Podcasters After Dark, and he also is in charge of our craps, our casino dice sessions. So it's not so much a speaker, and he runs one of the number one Vegas podcasts. Do you know how many listeners they have on their podcast? And they have a podcast that's on every 2 weeks, but they're well over 10,000 regular listeners. And as a social media guru, that 10,000 consistent listeners on a niche podcast, week after week is pretty darn amazing, right?
That is amazing. That's amazing. And then you got someone that flew internationally. I think Mark is going to have to end up winning for coming the farthest to this event. Doesn't he live in like Malaysia?
He lives in Malaysia. Yeah. And Mark's coming too. And he is the ultimate expert on everything that has to do with status matching. So really, really cool.
I mean, if any of you have ever done a frontier match, a Royal Jordanian match, and you have status of it, it's very likely that it's because of Mark Ross Smith and his company, statusmatch.com, that got you that. And so they're revolutionizing it as well. They're getting you status match in 2 days. They're showing the airlines that it's a good thing to do. So as long as Mark Ross Smith is alive, we will continue to have status matching available, and we're going to get to hear from him. That's really exciting.
Yeah, no, we're it's just a great it's just a really exciting program. I'm super excited for it, and I hope that's why we keep trying to spread the word, because it's so hard. There's so much out there, and people miss it. I am so amazed at how many people, like, I feel like we talk about it so much, or I talk about it so much, and people are like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize it was happening in December." So now you realize it's happening. So if you've never heard about it and never come before, I would definitely give it a consideration. And right now, it's relatively easy to get airfare to Las Vegas for that first week in December. You should be able to find airfare redemptions, especially on American. So, I mean, just do it. I'd like to say to people, just do it.
All right. And then Michael's just added me on recently. I'm excited to be a part of this whole thing. And we're going to do a session on helping folks that want to be or want to improve their content creation and kind of help them get to the next step.
Right. And that's going to be part of the master classes. And then on top of it, you're also going to have your lab sessions where you're
Yeah.
going to be able to, talk about like all kinds of things that Ben regularly talks about. So that's really cool too. But we do have master classes, which are an additional add-on, which include a really good buffet lunch. We are all about like our food and beverage, and the master classes have a really, really, really good lunch. And we've got status optimization in the morning, and then in the afternoon we have creative spend and casino comp maximization. And what's really cool about our master classes in the afternoon, if you sign up for them, you could actually move between them. So you can spend some time in creative spend and some time in casino comp maximization. And then on top of it, there's more, right? And there is an incredible bonus section on, you want to be an do you want to be an influencer, social media and storytelling that Ben's doing. And we're doing it at a secret location in the hotel, which is going to be really, once again, different ideas, because you can't do a session on being an influencer or, talking about social media and storytelling without doing it in a cool location.
Maybe we'll talk about some filming techniques as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we have a lot here, and I encourage people to reach out to me, reach out to Ben if you have questions. I mean, this is going to be an absolutely fabulous event. It's been great every year, but this year is even more exciting at a really nice property. And it gives you an opportunity for an excuse to go to Vegas. And it's never bad to have an excuse to go to Vegas and bring your P2 and do other great Vegas stuff. I mean, Carbone Riviera just opened up, where Picasso used to be at Bellagio, which is Carbone, but basically on the water with views of the Bellagio fountains. The Sphere has the Wizard of Oz, which everyone raves about. There is a football game on Sunday, Raiders, Broncos. I mean, this is Vegas.
Really?
And also
Broncos oh my gosh, maybe I'll go see that game.
And on top of it, no, you have a master class. And on top of it, sorry, but there might be a contest at Zorkfest that revolves around that game. So you'll have to stay tuned. I'm not going to say a word about it other than that word about it. But it's a great, it's a great weekend. Also, rodeo is starting in Vegas too.
Yes.
So it's rodeo weekend. So look at all of the opportunities that you have to, have a great, think about, you're going to have a great Vegas weekend. You're going to learn lots of great stuff. You're going to meet lots of great people, and you're going to have martinis with blue cheese olives. So what else could you possibly want?
Wow. You cannot get better than that. Okay, everyone, make sure you go register at Zorkfest.com. Reach out to me, reach out to Michael. Michael, thank you for sharing it. Once again, folks, this is the last conference of the year, Points and Miles. We won't see anything again probably until middle of next year. So if you want to get it started, if you want to level up this year and you want to be able to earn more points and travel better with yourself, your family, earn more casino comps, and just kind of get better at having better vacations, make sure you reach out to us, myself and Michael, if you have any questions.
You can find me at TravelZork at all the platforms. Instagram, just send a direct message if you have a question.
All right. Well, Michael, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you sharing with us this exciting, and I'll see you in Las Vegas at the M Resort.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. And I hope to see everyone there.